The North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has invited South Korean President Jae-in to meet in Pyongyang, a dramatic gesture that may raise prospects for easing tensions on the Korean peninsula. The invitation was delivered by Kim's sister, Kim Yo Jong, at the Winter Olympics in South Korea. Let's get it over to Seoul, where our bureau chief Peter Pei is standing by. And Peter, you've been kind of watching the to and fro, the developments in terms of North-South relations for quite some time. Is this a game changer, or is this really kind of good PR and optics? There's a lot of excitement over it.
Yes, well, at the beginning of the weekend, we thought, yes, this was really a nice propaganda machine working for North Korea. The Kim Jong Un's sister, Kim Yo Jong's arrival here was like the biggest news, but of course it was basically overshadowing the Olympics here. But now it seems like, there's the things are flowing very fast. We just heard from Washington, D.C. that the U.S. may actually engage in direct talks with North Korea. This is a fundamental shift because before there was precondition that they would only talk to North Korea if there was any sign of North Korea dismantling their nuclear program. This, of course, came just hours after Pence had left Seoul, looking visibly, I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but maybe awkward about this whole situation with South Korea and North Korea trying to engage in a summit. Of course, there was, just 12 hours ago, analysts were saying it looks like North Korea was succeeding in creating this wedge between South Korea and the U.S. Well, that seems to be going away in the last hour or two. So lots of dramatic movements going on very quickly, every hour, it seems.
Yeah, it was interesting, sort of the amount of significance being read into by the fact that Mike Pence didn't shake her hand, that he reportedly turned up late for this dinner and then didn't stay very long. What are we kind of watching out for in terms of this sort of excitement and fervour from the unified teams and the good PR really settling down? What are the real signs of development after the Olympics?
Well, South Korea's President Moon Jae-in did not accept the invite yet. He had said, well, we still need to consider what we're going to do with U.S.-North Korea relations. And he had actually, or at least his staffers had talked about the need for U.S. engagement. Well, a couple of hours ago, the Vice President Pence apparently indicated the willingness to have direct talks, change in the policy. Before, it used to be basically maximum pressure until North Korea started to dismantle the nuclear program. Now, apparently, the word is maximum pressure and engagement. So a shift there. Lots of developments. Next, of course, we'll have to hear from Moon Jae-in whether he'll accept the invite and actually have a meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, that would be very historic if that really did happen, Peter. But, on one hand, if he accepts it, that is fraught with possibilities, political ramifications there. If he rejects it, that could show that South Korea and, by proxy, United States is more bellicose to some degree. What do you think needs to be laid out there so that this doesn't become something that totally falls apart for South Korea?
Yes, well, many of the critics obviously point out that, South Korea's President Moon Jae-in is playing into Kim Jong Un's hand, that this is really a delaying tactic, give North Korea time to actually complete a working nuclear program. That said, the fact that, Washington just said that they may engage in talks moves this needle quite a bit and away from what would have been, I think, just hours ago, what would have been an incredibly difficult diplomatic pickle for South Korea's President Moon Jae-in. He was, at that time, just hours ago, dealing with this notion of, if he accepted the invitation, he could have driven this alliance with U.S. In a more difficult position. On the other hand, he would have, if he said no, then that would have created more tensions, escalating potential hostilities here. So in some ways, just in the last couple of hours, the developments out of the U.S. suggest that South Korea's Moon Jae-in may have avoided some difficult decisions.
It's so interesting, of course, as this plays out in the backdrop of the Winter Olympics. I remember, in 1988 Seoul Olympics, a lot of people said that it was chosen in order to try to break things up and to make things rise again. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. One thing, though, 20 years ago, Kim Dae-jung's sunshine policy, we're sort of back here again, possibly. There are these rays here, but are the people ready? And on another level, does that matter?
Well, there's, the older generation clearly are skeptical. They're critical of any moves by North Korea for peace talks. They've seen this happen before. It hasn't gone anywhere. All it has done was continue to keep the Kim Jong Un reign, that dynasty basically in power. So there's. It'll be everything. Everybody, I think, is basically waiting to see what happens with the talks. Clearly, North Korea has made a gesture that they are willing to talk, whether that is genuine and that there is going to be progress with dismantling their nuclear program remains to be seen.